Hello, Assalamualaikum, welcome to my channel. And today's topic is cross matching of the blood. Now, blood can be given as whole or can be divided into the fractions according to the need of patient. Blood comprises of 55% of plasma, 4% of white blood cells, and 41% of red blood cells. So, if a patient just needs red blood cells, we can give red blood cells. The red blood cells are separated from the blood and given to the patient. Or the plasma can be separated from the blood and given to the patient if the patient just need blood plasma. We can also give platelets separately if patient needs just platelets. When blood of one person is given to another person, the blood is cross matched for any possible reactions. Because our body's defense system makes certain antibodies against some antigens that are not present in our body as a defense mechanism, and that antibodies react to the antigens of the blood when we don't cross match the blood. Those antibodies create severe reactions. In this video we will see that how red blood cells are cross matched, what are the considerations of plasma cross matching, and how whole blood is cross-matched. There is a difference between whole blood plasma and red blood cells. When we are giving red blood cells, we have to consider different things. If we are giving just plasma, we have to consider different scenarios, and if we are giving blood as whole, then we should consider different scenarios. So let's see how all these things are cross-matched. As you know, there are two blood grouping or blood typing systems, ABO blood grouping system and RH blood grouping system. ABO blood grouping system is most important blood group system that is based on antigen A and antigen B. RH blood group system is second most important, and there are more than 50 defined blood group antigens that are present in RH blood grouping system, but only 5 are important, and most commonly used antigen for RH blood grouping system is antigen D. Let's see the cross matching of the RBCs. There are different blood groups that we are going to see what are the considerations of different blood groups when we just need RBCs. If patient blood group is AB positive, he will have A, antigen B, and antigen D in its blood in RBCs, and he will have no antibodies in his plasma. Means no antibodies are present in his plasma and any type of blood, the RBCs of any type of blood group, because we are not taking plasma from the donor, so we don't have to consider the antibodies that the donor could have in his or her plasma. So we just have to see what antigens are present on their RBCs to give the RBCs to the recipient, because recipient have every type of antigen that we are considering as a blood group, so we can give the RBCs from any type of blood group. The AB positive blood group is universal acceptor of RBCs, not whole blood, not plasma. We will see when whole blood is taken, the scenarios are different, and then when plasma is taken from the donor, the scenarios are different. AB positive blood group is just universal acceptor of RBCs from any blood group. Now come to the AB negative blood group. The recipient will have antigen A and antigen B, and the antibodies that are present in the recipient blood is antibody D. So he cannot take blood from any of the donor that have antigen D. All the negative blood groups can give RBCs to the receiver whom blood group is AB negative. A positive persons have antigen A and D in their blood and antibody B in the plasma. So antigen A and D, antigen A, no antigen, and antigen D, no antigen, no antigen D, no antigen A or B. So these people can give RBCs to a positive person. We are not considering the plasma of the donor. A negative person have antigen A in their blood and anti-B and anti-D. So they can take from A negative and O negative people. B positive persons have antigen B and D in their blood and anti-A in their plasma. So they can take B negative, B positive, O positive, O negative. B negative people just have B antigen B and have anti-A and anti-D. So they can take from B negative and O negative. O positive people, they have antigen D in their blood and anti-A and anti-B in their plasma. So they can take from O positive and O negative people. O negative have no antigens in their blood. So they cannot take from any of the blood group other than O negative because all the antigens will cross react to the antibodies that are present in the plasma of the O negative person. Here you can see all the columns have O negative because O negative has no antigen A, no antigen B, or no antigen D. When we take RBCs from O negative, I'm saying again, we are not considering plasma here, the recipient of any blood group. So O negative is a universal donor of RBCs. Now let's see the cross matching of the plasma. These are all blood groups we will see one by one here. Suppose that our recipient is AB positive. He will have antigens, all the antigens in his blood and no antibodies in the plasma. So definitely the plasma with no antibodies will be feasible for the AB positive person. AB positive plasma will have no antibodies definitely, but why AB negative is written here? Because when the person is Rh negative, he will produce the antibodies against antigen D when he is exposed to antigen D. Until and unless he is not exposed to antigen D, he will not produce the antibodies. So, AB negative persons could have antibodies against antigen D and could not have antibodies against antigen D. The plasma of AB negative persons without antibody D can be given to the AB positive person. AB negative person can have, and if your patient is A positive, the plasma that has antibody B will be visible to A positive patient or a plasma that has no antibodies. AB positive and AB negative are universal donors of plasma. So you will see throughout the columns, AB positive is all over there. So let's not discuss about AB positive and negative. A positive will have the plasma from A positive and A negative. A negative has the same reason because A negative will not have antibodies for antigen D until and unless it is exposed to antigen D. A negative, A positive, A negative, AB positive and AB negative. And the reason you can understand until now. The B positive blood group will have the plasma of the blood group that have anti-A in its blood or no antibodies. So AB positive and AB negative obviously, and B positive and B negative. B negative, B positive, B negative, AB positive and AB negative. O positive is universal acceptor. O positive and O negative are universal acceptor of plasma. O negative more specifically because O negative can have plasma from any blood group. O positive can have also plasma from any blood group, but the condition is when it is a negative blood group, it should not have antibody D in its plasma. That's all for plasma. Now come to whole blood. While we are talking about whole blood, we are talking about RBCs and we are also talking about plasma. So we will have antigens in the RBCs and as well as antibodies in the plasma. So we have to take care of both. Now if our patient is AB positive, he will have all the antigens in the blood and no antibodies. So any blood with no antibodies can be given to the AB positive. Means AB positive will have no antibodies and AB negative could also have no antibodies. Both can be donors of AB positive. If our recipient is AB negative, then if we give AB positive, the recipient's blood, because it is Rh negative, it will recognize the Rh positive or antigen D as the foreign invader and will attack the blood. So we cannot give AB positive to a AB negative person. AB negative person will have the whole blood from AB negative only. Okay, why other blood groups cannot donate to AB positive or negative? If we will give blood group A, that will have antibodies for B in the plasma, and those antibodies will recognize antigen and they will cross react. If we will give a group B to A, B positive or negative, they will have antibodies for A and they will cross react with antigen A. And now what is the problem with the blood group O? Blood group O have no antigen. Yes, blood group O has no antigens, but it has all the antibodies if it is O negative, and antibody A and B if it is O positive. So it also could not be given to AB positive or AB negative because they have antigens A and B, and O will have antibodies for them. So O cannot be given and A and B also cannot be given to AB positive or negative. A positive blood group will have A positive or negative because B positive will have antibodies for A. AB positive also will have antibodies for A, and O also have antibodies for A. A negative will have the A negative blood group as a donor because A positive will be recognized by the immune system of O negative person as foreign invader. B positive will have B positive or B negative. B negative will have B negative. O positive will have O positive or O negative, and O negative will have O negative. Means when it comes to whole blood, if you are Rh positive, you can have the blood from Rh positive or Rh negative. And if you are a Rh negative person, you can have the blood from only Rh negative person. No other options are there. In this lecture, we learn about the cross matching of red blood cells, matching of the plasma, and the cross matching of whole blood. In the next video, we are going to talk about Bombay blood group, a rare type of blood group that is found in less than 0.1% of the people. Till then, goodbye, Khuda Hafiz, take care.